This was my second solo walk on the Wye Valley Way, and my last before joining the walking group you'll meet later on in the series. No e-bike this time. I relied instead on that most undervalued of British institutions, the rural bus service.
Well, magic moments here in Rhayader. The bus is stopped for a fag stop, and my bus pass didn't work.
I hopped off outside Llangurig post office, where the postmaster was as cheerful as the morning drizzle, and I treated myself to a brand new 1 to 25,000 ordnance map. A fine idea in theory, though as it turned out, my navigational skills would later abandon me high on the moors above Rhayader. From Llangurig, I crossed the River Wye and began the long, steady climb up Nanty Hendy Hill, passing Clockfane House, a fine arts and crafts mansion built for a royal servant. 100 years on, it still stands as a monument to a very British oddity, our enduring fondness for the wealthy and powerful. I muttered something about privilege, tightened my bootlaces, and trudged upwards into the breeze.
Beautiful clear water. I wouldn't want to drink it though without filtering it. And that's how the dubbing does the business. As you can see, pretty well made tracks for farm vehicles, those quad bike things. Just remarking how good the path was, and of course it immediately deteriorates to this muddy groove. Lovely. Lower Paleozoic mud, what could be nicer? Down beneath us are rocks full of fossils of the earliest hard-shelled life that existed on Earth. Doubt if I'll find any today though.
Soon the world fell silent. I was among the high, lonely birdsong, red kites maybe wheeling above overhead, and I stopped for coffee on a remote patch of common land. Now, there's not much true common land left in Britain, not since the great land grabs that began after the Norman conquest 1,000 years ago. Perhaps that's why I was in a slightly political mood today, thinking of those who'd been pushed off these hills so others could profit from them. But it's hard to stay cross for long in such a wild and beautiful place.
Plenty of wild birds up here. I'm surprised living in this bleak place. Only joking, walking vans. It's a bleakness I adore. And further I go on this walk, the more I'm liking this part of the Cambrian Mountains. If you draw a map of Wales and aim for the middle and go left a bit, westwards, that's where I am.
Cuckoo again. The sun made a brief appearance as I descended into the tributary valley of the Durnall. I lunched beside a lane overlooking the Wye, propped against some old stone slabs of cleaved Ordovician slate, the kind of geological craftsmanship only nature manages.
So following this rather more natural pathway, and this takes me to a place called, or a feature called Pont Marteg. Marteg, I suspect, was a Cistercian person back in the 12th century, because I'm joining an old medieval route of that time that joined up Cistercian abbeys in these parts. And onto Pont Marteg we go. Well, how lovely is this? Answer very.
That's good. I like that. The farm that time forgot. That's an immensely satisfying thwack you get from a good, well-made style. So as Andy named them, a Steve Stinger is upon me. That's a steep climb just when you don't need it at the end of a walk. So I'm hoping this is leading me to the top of this long slog uphill. Well, I think I'm at the top. Thank the flying fanny for that. That was a slog. There's my destination. My navigational system has failed and my backup has not been great. But I suppose a bit of a schoolboy error really. I bust my compass when I was away earlier in the year. I don't have it with me. And of course if the phone goes, which it has done, it's the first time ever, complete failure, I can't get it restarted. Paper and compass, map and compass, way to go. Well, my missed navigation's brought me to here. So either walk half a mile or so into Rhayader along the A470, which I don't fancy, or I jump the fence and scamper down this little banklet and follow the River Wye, which is, do you know what, it's the nearest I've been to it all day long. Big cock up. Never mind though, bit of an adventure and a lesson learned. Well, that's where I should have entered Rhayader from, sadly not. And there's the rather wonderful bus shelter, described as a bus station. I like that. Fellow walkers to my left, and my car dead ahead, thank Christ. Glad to see you, buddy.
Back at the car safely, but I still had a 2-hour or more drive back home to my home city of Bristol. Anyway, this was my last solo stage walking the whole of the River Wye from mountain to sea. Next time I'm with the Wye Valley Walkers group proper for my debut. And here are some stills from when they recently walked the same stage that I got lost on earlier today. Well, I suppose I added a few miles with that unplanned diversion, but I loved this walk. The climbs, the descents, the rugged Cambrian landscape, all of it was pure joy. Next time though, there's a twist. I won't be alone. From stage 3 onwards, I joined the Wye Valley Walking Group, and my river to sea adventure becomes a shared one. And you can now see all my Wye Valley Way videos on my YouTube channel, along with route details and parking suggestions in the comments below the video. And if you enjoyed this, please like, comment and subscribe, and follow me. I'm Steve, the Ponytail Pensioner.